What if I told you that a man who survived the unimaginable horrors of Nazi concentration camps discovered the secret to not just surviving, but thriving through life's greatest challenges? And what if this same secret could transform how you experience your golden years, turning every adversity into an opportunity for profound meaning and growth? At 65 and beyond, you've already weathered countless storms. But Viktor Frankl, the brilliant psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, revealed something extraordinary. The very adversities that seem to diminish us can actually become our greatest teachers. Today, I'm going to share with you Frankl's revolutionary insights that will completely change how you view the challenges of aging. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll discover 3 life-changing principles that Frankl used not only to survive the concentration camps, but to help thousands of people find meaning in their darkest hours. And here's the remarkable part: these principles become even more powerful as we age. Welcome back to Timeless Minds 65 Plus, where we explore the profound wisdom that comes with experience and age. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into one of the most transformative philosophies ever developed for overcoming life's adversities. Viktor Emil Frankl lived from 1905 to 1997, spanning nearly the entire 20th century. But it wasn't just his longevity that made him extraordinary. It was how he transformed unimaginable suffering into a beacon of hope for millions. As a neurologist, psychiatrist, and Holocaust survivor, Frankl developed what he called Logotherapy, a therapeutic approach centered on finding meaning in life, especially during our most challenging moments. Now you might be thinking, what does a concentration camp survivor's experience have to do with my life at 65 or 75 or 85? The answer will surprise you, and it's more relevant than you might imagine. But before we continue, let me ask you something. How many of you watching right now have faced a moment in recent years where you questioned whether your best days were behind you? Maybe it was a health scare, the loss of a spouse, retirement anxiety, or simply the feeling that society no longer values your contributions. If you're nodding along, you're not alone. And Frankl's wisdom speaks directly to these experiences. Frankl's first revolutionary insight came from his darkest hour. In the concentration camps, stripped of everything, his family, his possessions, his professional identity, even his name, he discovered what he called the last of human freedoms. This is the freedom to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Now let's bring this home to your life today. At 65 plus, you may face circumstances you cannot change. Perhaps your body doesn't move like it used to. Maybe your memory isn't as sharp. You might have lost friends or family members. Financial concerns may weigh on your mind. These are real challenges, and I'm not minimizing them. But here's where Frankl's wisdom becomes transformative. While you cannot always control what happens to you, you always retain the power to choose how you respond. This isn't about positive thinking or denial. It's about recognizing that your response to adversity is where your true power lies. Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. Frankl wrote about an elderly patient who came to him devastated by his wife's death after 40 years of marriage. The man was consumed by grief and couldn't see any reason to continue living. Instead of offering platitudes, Frankl asked him a simple but profound question. What would have happened if you had died first and your wife had to survive you? The man immediately replied, "Oh, for her, this would have been terrible. How she would have suffered." Frankl then pointed out, "You see, such a suffering has been spared her, and it was you who have spared her this suffering, to be sure, at the price that now you have to survive and mourn her." In that moment, the man's suffering was transformed from meaningless pain into a meaningful sacrifice. His grief didn't disappear, but it gained purpose. This principle applies powerfully to the adversities of aging. When you face health challenges, instead of asking, "Why me?" you might ask, "How can this experience help me understand others who are suffering?" When you feel marginalized by a youth-obsessed culture, instead of feeling worthless, you might ask, "What wisdom do I possess that younger generations desperately need?" Frankl taught that we cannot avoid suffering, but we can choose how to cope with it, find meaning in it, and move forward with renewed purpose. This is especially powerful in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond, because you have decades of experience in overcoming challenges. Frankl identified 3 sources of meaning that become increasingly important as we age. The first is creative values, what we give to the world. The second is experiential values, what we take from the world. And the third, most relevant to overcoming adversity, is attitudinal values, the stance we take toward unavoidable suffering. Now here's something fascinating that most people don't realize about aging and meaning, and this might completely change how you view your current life stage. As we age, our capacity for creative values might seem diminished. We may no longer be building careers or raising children. Our experiential values might feel limited by physical constraints or financial considerations. But our attitudinal values, our ability to find meaning through how we face challenges, actually increases with age. Think about it. You have decades of experience in overcoming obstacles. You've survived losses, disappointments, and setbacks that would have overwhelmed your younger self. This accumulated wisdom gives you a unique capacity to transform current adversities into sources of meaning. Let me give you a concrete example. Sarah, a 72-year-old woman, was diagnosed with arthritis that ended her beloved gardening hobby. Initially, she fell into depression, feeling that a major source of joy and identity had been taken from her. But applying Frankl's principles, she began to see her situation differently. She started a blog sharing her gardening knowledge with younger enthusiasts. She mentored neighborhood children in plant care. She advocated for accessible garden designs for people with mobility challenges. Her physical limitation became a catalyst for a new form of creative expression and service to others. This is the power of attitudinal values, transforming what seems like a limitation into an opportunity for meaningful contribution. Frankl's third crucial insight was that humans are primarily driven not by the pursuit of pleasure or power, but by the search for meaning. This will to meaning becomes especially important in later life, when traditional sources of identity and purpose may have changed. Here's a question that might make you uncomfortable, but I want you to really think about it. When you wake up in the morning, what gives you a sense of purpose? What makes you excited to start the day? If you're struggling to answer that question, you're experiencing what Frankl called an existential vacuum, a feeling of meaninglessness that can lead to depression, anxiety, and a sense that life here's no longer worth living. But here's the beautiful truth that Frankl discovered. Meaning cannot be given to you by others, and it cannot be taken away by circumstances. Meaning must be found by you, and it's always available, regardless of your age or situation. Frankl told the story of an elderly man who felt his life was meaningless because he was no longer productive in the traditional sense. Frankl helped him realize that his very existence had meaning. He was a living repository of experiences, wisdom and love that could benefit others. The man began volunteering at a local school, sharing stories of historical events he had witnessed firsthand. His sense of meaninglessness transformed into a profound sense of purpose. For those of you over 65, you are living libraries of experience. You've witnessed decades of change, overcome countless challenges, and accumulated wisdom that younger generations desperately need. Your adversities, health challenges, losses, transitions, are not signs that your meaningful life is over. They are opportunities to demonstrate resilience, to model grace under pressure, and to show others how to face difficulties with dignity. Let's address some specific adversities that many of you face and how Frankl's principles apply. Health challenges. Instead of seeing illness or physical limitations as pure loss, Frankl would encourage you to find meaning in how you face these challenges. Your courage in dealing with health issues can inspire others. Your patience in adapting to new limitations can teach valuable lessons about resilience. Loss and grief. Frankl understood that grief is the price we pay for love. Rather than trying to get over losses, he taught that we can honor our loved ones by carrying their memory forward meaningfully. Your grief can become a bridge to help others who are suffering similar losses. Social isolation. In our youth-obsessed culture, older adults often feel invisible or irrelevant. Frankl would challenge this by helping you recognize that your perspective, shaped by decades of experience, is invaluable. Your role may have shifted from doing to being a source of wisdom, stability, and perspective for others. Financial concerns, economic worries in retirement can feel overwhelming. Frankl's approach would focus not on what you lack, but on what you can still contribute that doesn't require financial resources. Your time, attention, wisdom, and care for others. Now, I want to share with you the most powerful technique Frankl developed for overcoming adversity, and it's something you can start using immediately. Frankl developed a technique called dereflection, the practice of shifting focus away from your problems and towards something or someone outside yourself. This is particularly powerful for older adults because it leverages your natural capacity for wisdom and perspective. When you're facing an adversity, instead of focusing intensely on the problem itself, Frankl would encourage you to ask, how can this experience serve something larger than myself? This might mean using your struggle to help others facing similar challenges, or finding ways to contribute to causes you care about despite your limitations. Here's an exercise you can try right now. Think of a current challenge you're facing. Now, instead of focusing on how this challenge affects you, ask yourself these 3 questions. First, how might this experience help me understand and assist others who face similar challenges? Second, what strengths am I developing by working through this adversity? Third, how can I use this experience to leave a positive legacy for younger generations? This shift in perspective doesn't minimize your struggle, but it transforms it from meaningless suffering into meaningful growth. One of the unique advantages of being 65 plus is the natural inclination toward legacy thinking. Frankl would say that your adversities are part of the story you're writing, not just for yourself, but for those who come after you. How you handle challenges in your later years becomes a teaching tool for your children, grandchildren, and community. Think about the older adults who influenced you when you were younger. Chances are you remember not just their successes, but how they handled difficulties with grace, humor, or determination. You are now in that position for others. Some of you might be thinking, this sounds nice in theory, but what about when the pain is overwhelming? What about when depression makes it hard to find meaning in anything? Frankl addressed this directly. He never minimized genuine suffering or suggested that finding meaning was easy. Instead, he offered hope that even in the darkest moments, the possibility for meaning exists. He also emphasized that seeking professional help when needed is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. Logotherapy and other therapeutic approaches can provide tools and support for finding meaning, even in the midst of significant challenges. Here's something beautiful about applying Frankl's principles in your later years. Your transformation has a ripple effect. When you model resilience and meaning-making in the face of adversity, you give permission to others to do the same. Your courage becomes contagious. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final insight from Frankl that might completely Change how you view your remaining years. Frankl observed that as we age, we often become more aware of time's passage, which can create anxiety about mortality. But he reframed this awareness as a gift. The consciousness of time's limits can actually intensify our appreciation for meaning and motivate us to live more purposefully. Your awareness that time is precious isn't a burden, it's wisdom. It can help you prioritize what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. This clarity, born from experience and the reality of aging, is one of the greatest advantages of your life stage. So how do you apply all of this in your daily life? Start each morning by asking yourself, what meaning can I create or discover today? This doesn't have to be something grand. It might be listening deeply to a friend who needs support, sharing a skill or piece of knowledge with someone younger, approaching a personal challenge with curiosity rather than defeat, finding one small way to contribute to your community, or practicing gratitude for experiences that have shaped your wisdom. Some of you might be thinking, this is easier said than done. You're right. Frankl never claimed that finding meaning in adversity was simple, but he did insist that it was possible and that the effort itself was worthwhile. The search for meaning, even when meaning feels elusive, is itself meaningful. Remember, you don't have to do this alone. One of the beautiful aspects of being part of the 65+ community is the shared understanding of life's challenges and transitions. Connecting with others who are on similar journeys can provide support, inspiration, and opportunities to help each other find meaning in difficult times. Viktor Frankl's message to those facing the adversities of aging is both challenging and hopeful. Your struggles are not signs that your meaningful life is over. They are opportunities to demonstrate the depth of human resilience and the power of the human spirit to find purpose even in difficulty. Your age is not a limitation, it's a qualification. You are qualified by experience to understand that life includes both joy and sorrow, gain and loss, strength and vulnerability. This understanding gives you a unique capacity to help others and to model what it means to live with meaning, regardless of circumstances. The adversities you face in your 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond are not punishments or signs of failure. They are part of the human experience, and how you meet them can become a source of profound meaning and a gift to those around you. Frankl lived to be 92, continuing to write, teach, and inspire others until near the end of his life. He proved that meaning-making is not just for the young, it's a lifelong calling that can actually deepen and intensify with age. Your story isn't over. Your most meaningful chapters may still be ahead. Every adversity is an opportunity to demonstrate the incredible resilience of the human spirit and transform challenges into purpose. If Frankl's insights have resonated with you today, join our Timeless Minds 65+ community. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for weekly wisdom on purposeful living. Like this video if it's given you new perspectives, and share it with others who could benefit from these transformative principles. Tell us in the comments, how have you found meaning in difficult times? Your stories inspire our entire community. Remember, you have the power to transform adversity into meaning and become a beacon of hope for others. Until next week, keep seeking meaning and proving that the best chapters can be written at any age. This is Timeless Minds 65+, where wisdom never ages and purpose never retires.